us today start on our backs. So T squared, oh, it's just one Tara now. Go ahead and lay down your back and give yourself a stretch. And just release down into that. And then just pick a comfortable position for a moment. You can stay flat on your back. You could draw your knees into your chest. You could bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. Just for a moment to just sort of settle whatever comfortable position you want to find. If you want, closing your eyes and just taking a few breaths. Releasing into your mat. Giving yourself over to the practice. Exhale and let go of your day, let go of the week. Always lots of stuff going on, especially now. There's so much sort of stress and everything in all of our lives. So just see if you can just get rid of it. Just exhale it away. And if you need to move your body for a moment, or if you need to just be still for a moment, whatever best helps you focus, whatever best helps you prepare for your practice. And begin to focus on the breath, watching the breathing, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And if you're not there already, go ahead and bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. And let your knees kind of fall in towards one another so that they're relaxed. And take one hand and put it on your abdomen, doesn't matter which, right there by your belly button. And take the other hand and put it right in the middle of your chest and just let your arms release down, let your shoulders relax. And with your eyes closed, begin taking a few breaths. So as you inhale, you'll notice that your hands rise. See if you can make that hand on your abdomen rise as your abdomen fills with air. And then as you exhale, feel the hands fall. So notice when you're breathing more deeply, it's not really that your abdomen is filling with air, of course, but that diaphragm is pressing down and that expansion of your lungs goes all the way to that hand that's on your belly. And notice your ribs as they expand outwards. And just take a few breaths here. Just inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose, feeling the hands rise, feeling the hands fall. Noticing the feeling of the weight of your hands right there on your abdomen. Maybe you notice the feeling of your heartbeat under the hand that's on your solar plexus. Notice the breath as it passes over your nose, through your nostrils. Imagine you can watch it as it goes down and each hand rises in succession. Imagine you can watch it as your hand on your belly falls, the hand on your chest falls, and the air comes back out. And give yourself over to this time, to your practice. There's nothing else for you to do right now but be present here on your mat. And draw your right knee into your body, extend that left leg long and just hug the right shin in. And maybe roll your ankle, maybe flex your foot and point your foot if that feels good. But really actively but gently pulling in that right shin and equally actively but gently pushing away with that left foot. So you flex the left foot and your heel is driving away. So you're getting a little stretch probably in your sort of inner thigh. And this should be stretching your back really gently. You're not going to feel it so much, but this is actually stretching your back. You notice what it's feeling like in your hip, just wherever you might be feeling a stretch. And then take that right hand that's on your right shin and just open that right shin out. I like to put my left hand on my hip to keep that hip rooted so it doesn't roll. We're not going to roll to our right. We're just opening that right leg out, so you're getting a stretch here in that inner thigh area. Taking a couple of breaths there. Good, and then stretch that foot long, press it away, and draw the left leg in, pull that left shin in, and push the right heel away. Roll that left shin a couple of times, or the right, what am I saying? The left ankle a couple of times. And or pointing and flexing the foot, whatever you kind of need to do to get that feeling good. Breathing into that. And then holding on to the left shin. Again, you could put your right hand on your right hip just to keep it grounded there, and gently open that right shin out to the side. Getting a little stretch of the inner thigh. And bring that back to center. Draw both knees into your chest and give yourself a little rock from side to side. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So if you have a strap, you can grab your strap. If you don't have a strap or a towel or something you could substitute for a strap, it's fine. You can do it without it. It's not going to make or break this. So I'm going to put my left foot with my left knee bent and my left foot on the floor. You could extend that leg all the way, and I probably will at one point, but I'm going to start with it there. If I've got a strap, I'm hooking it over the arch of my right foot. If you don't, you can actually just extend your leg straight up. You can hold it if you want, but you can just release your arms down by your side. That works just as well. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not holding my straps. So flex your foot and just sort of pull that right leg towards your face. Now, if you have straps or a towel or something, you can grab hold of it and you can gently pull it and get a little bit of a deeper stretch. So don't yank too hard. If you're like me and your knee hyperextends, be a little bit aware of that because we don't want to put unnecessary pressure on our knee. And then if you feel like you've got it in your body and you want, you can extend that left leg. That requires a bit more flexibility. So just notice if you shouldn't be there, you're going to notice some pressure in your low back, and we want to avoid that. And it also might be that that right leg just ends up bending or is further away from your body. So just adjust. That left leg can be anywhere that's comfortable. So you're just pulling it either with hand, with nothing, or with the strap towards your body. So what we're going to do is, if you're using the strap, you're going to use your arm strength to create some traction, and you're going to resist the leg moving away from your body. If you're not using a strap, you're just going to really actively push with that right heel as if you're pushing a million-pound weight down. Maybe not 1,000,000 pounds, because the idea is you're going to be able to push it down, but it's going to be really heavy, and that's going to create an active stretch here in the back of your hamstring. Okay, so everybody flex your foot, and everybody push the right heel away from you. And the right leg is going to win. It's going to eventually get down to the floor, but it has to really work to get there. It has to push and push and push and push. If you're using the strap, you're pulling against the strap, and if you're not, you're just pushing, 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 pushing that right heel away to really lengthen the right leg until eventually it makes it down to the floor. If you don't have a strap, bend your knee and then bring your right leg all the way back up. If you do, you can just pull it up. And then we're going to do it again. So start gently stretching, so you're pulling it towards your face. And then flex the foot. Hi, Joelle. And push the heel away, lengthening through that leg. And again, without the strap, you're just pressing, pressing, pressing. Pushing it away, creating that traction to really stretch the hamstring. This is a very effective stretch for your hamstring. And then again, bring that leg up. So bend your knee if you need to, or if you've got the strap, just pull it on up. And so you notice when I'm using the strap, my hands start really high, and then as I push away, my hands slide down the strap. So my arms are working, but again, the leg is going to win. Pushing, 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 pushing. Taking a few breaths to get all the way down to the bottom. And now, with both legs down there, shake them out. And just notice, sometimes that right leg will actually be noticeably longer than the left leg. It is on me, and it's funny because my left leg is normally the one that seems longer. So, all right, so now we're gonna switch legs. So you can bring that leg up. Again, left foot is gonna be flexed. The strap is gonna go on the arch, or you're just doing it without. And then the right foot, you decide. If the right knee is bent, totally fine. If you have a little more flexibility, you can extend that right leg. Just make sure you're not hurting your back. That is totally pointless. You get no extra credit for having a right leg straight. Okay, so now same thing. If you're holding onto the strap, you're gonna pull the strap gently back as you push the leg gently away. And if you're not using strap, you're just pushing, slowly engaging. Now, those of you not using strap, you're actually having to use your abs quite a bit here. So just be aware of that. That's a good reason to have that leg bent because you want to protect that low back. And if you have to bend your leg right at the bottom, those of you without the strap, because it's not supported, you can do that. Once it gets all the way to the bottom, bring it back up. If you've got a strap, walk your hands back up. And push it away. A regular belt would probably do just fine for this. Something that's leather might actually be too stretchy, but like I have canvas belts that are kind of similar to a yoga strap. You know, you just need something that doesn't have any elasticity in it and is long enough. And you know, a regular belt might have some sharp points on it that you don't necessarily want on your hands, but it does not have to be a yoga strap. All the way down to the bottom, pull it up one last time. I'll do it this time just to show you without it. So flexing that foot, pushing, pushing, pushing. Without it, I've got to brace my abs to support the core. Push that left leg away, like I'm trying to press it right out of my hips, all the way down to the bottom. See, you can do it without. And then again, shake the legs out. And now hopefully they're even. Lots of us have one leg longer than the other anyway, so they might not be even. And give yourself a stretch. And then bring both those legs up. Again, if you've got the strap, go ahead and grab it. I'm going to do it without just for the sake of demonstration. But you would hook that strap right over those feet and then pull it back towards you. If you can grab hold of your calves, you could do that, or your thighs even. And we're just trying to keep, so here, notice I'm not lifting up off the ground, right? So keep your back in the mat, flex your feet, and you're just creating, again, I'm often talking about these two traction points. So 2 points are rooted, and in between is a muscle, and we're creating a stretch. So your sacrum is rooted to the mat here, and you're gently pulling the legs towards you so you're getting a stretch. If you lifted your butt off the mat, you wouldn't be getting a stretch anymore. And you could be holding onto the strap to facilitate that. Some of you might be able to reach your toes. And now let's let those legs drop open. Again, you could still probably be holding this with the strap. Otherwise, you can just let it go. Flexing the feet. If you want, you can even take your hands and press gently down. This is a really wonderful stretch to do against the wall. So you put your body right up against the wall, bring your legs up the wall, and drop your legs open. So you get the benefit of this inversion, which we're getting here, and you get this really great stretch in your inner thighs. And when you do it with the support of the wall, you won't get tired. We would get tired eventually sitting here like this, but when you do it against the wall, you're not going to get as tired. So you can lie there for like 10 minutes. It feels really, really nice. Sometimes you'll need to take a break, bring the legs together, and then open them back up. I used to do this when I was a kid when I was trying to do the splits. I just accepted I was never going to be able to do the splits, but when I was 13, I really, 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 really wanted to. And I would sit here like this for ages, and it just proved to me I wasn't going to be able to do the splits. But it feels really nice because lots of us can have tight inner thighs. All right, and then let's bring that up. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. And begin to rock front to back. If it feels good to rock a few times, you can do so. And then bring yourself to a sit. All right, sitting up nice and tall. We'll do a couple of Pilates stretches here actually, which I quite like. So starting with spine stretch forward, so arms extended. This is one sometimes if you have a block, it's nice to have a block. It just helps your form, I find. So roll those shoulders down and back. If you're holding a block, you can press your hands against the sides. Otherwise, just have your arms be out in front of you. And the idea is the block stays parallel to the floor. It's never going to drop down. So this is going to be with a rounded spine. So we inhale, as we exhale, head drops towards, your chin drops towards chest, and you try to reach that block forward like you're passing it to someone in front of you. Pull the belly button towards the spine, pull the hips back, and really exhale all the air. Next time you inhale, come to sit. And again, exhale. Inhale to sit up tall. Exhale. Flexing the feet. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale. Inhale, sit up tall. Last time, exhale, stretch that block forward. Hold here for a couple of breaths. Head is between the arms. And coming up to sit. Good. Okay, the saw. Again, this is a Pilates stretch, technically. Arms extended, reaching opposite pinky to opposite toe. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Okay, so it's an inhale to lift, exhale to twist, and reach, reach, reach. Inhale to sit, exhale. Inhale to sit, twist, and exhale. Exhale, exhale. Inhale to sit. Last time, either side. Back to center and twist. Exhale, exhale to center. Very nice. Probably face this way, make it look a little bit better. Keep those arms lifted right where they were, and we're going to twist right to the side, but staying vertical. So we're working through here, getting a little spinal twist. Inhale, exhale, twist, twist, twist. Inhale to center. If it's too much with the arms extended, or if you're whacking walls, like I was hitting the curtain, you can bring your hands right to your center. Does not matter. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And last time, 2, 3. Good. Come back to center. Let's cross left leg over right. Sit up nice and tall. Go ahead and extend those arms again just where they were. Inhale. Exhale to twist. That left hand comes behind, right hand hugs the knee. And breathe into this twist. So make sure you stay sitting tall. You're not leaning back. We're not slouching. The best image is really like if your spine was like a washcloth. The best way to wring that washcloth out and get all the water out is to stretch it, right? If it was collapsed on itself, all the twisting in the world wouldn't help. You've got to stretch it and twist it. That's what we're trying to do. And the air is like the water. As you exhale, you're able to twist a little bit more. Good, coming back to center. Inhale, extend up. This time with a long spine, we're going to extend forward. So hinge from the hips, reaching, 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 and release that down. Just take a couple of breaths there. And bring yourself back up. Coming to the other side, so crossing left leg over right, sitting tall, extend the arms, inhale, exhale to twist, right hand behind, left hand hugs the knee. So you're kind of pressing that back shoulder away, opening the chest, trying to get the chest parallel to that side wall. Doesn't matter if you look over your back shoulder. If that feels good, fine. But just having your chin in neutral is fine. We're worrying about our lower spine and really our middle and upper spine, but not so much our neck. Good. Come back to center. If you've got a strap, I'm just going to show you another way we can stretch here while we're seated. And again, if you don't, you'll just do regular Paschimottanasana, just like we just did. So if you're doing without it, the arms extend and you hinge forward. If you're using the strap, go ahead and hook it over the arches of your feet. You can wrap your hands around if that feels good. And then pull on the strap as you hinge forward. So notice my spine is staying long. My chest is staying lifted, and I'm pulling my body forward. So you might just end up here, and you'll notice you're feeling a stretch, and that's the extent of what you can do. If you can keep going, you keep going, and eventually your belly will hit your legs. You keep going. Your ribs start to hit your legs. Maybe you keep going. And eventually the back will round, but you want to keep it extended as possible because that's what really helps stretch that low back where we get a lot of compression and pain. When you stay lifted and hinge forward, you get that great stretch in the low spine. And for those of you with tight hamstrings, the strap can really kind of help you here as well. Get those legs straighter. And bring yourself to sit. Keeping both legs just right where they are in front of you. Take an inhale up and we'll laterally bend, so letting the arm come down to the left side. Reaching the right arm over, really lift up and stretch over. Letting the left arm be bent so the spine can bend into the stretch. And lift yourself up. Inhale, exhale, over to the other side. Again, think of lifting through here, growing tall. We always want to extend the spine and then stretch it. Creating space, always creating space between the vertebrae, creating space in the muscle, and press yourself up. Come over onto your hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Maybe 3 cow cats. Loosening up that spine. We're going to do a little bit of back bending. So your spine moves in multiple directions because it is so fabulous and wonderful. Your spine can round forward, can also hinge forward as we saw. You can bend backwards, you can bend side to side, and you can twist. But the backwards bending one is the one that people tend to lose over time. So we're going to work on that a bit today. So walking out into a modified plank. So hands are under shoulders, knees are under hips, chest is staying lifted, belly button is in. So we're not dropping our hips, staying lifted, taking a breath. And then bend the elbows and lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. As you inhale, bringing your feet together, slide your hands out in front of you and come up into a sphinx. So shoulders are rolling down away from the ears. Palms are pressing into the mat, forearms are pressing into the mat, and we're really lifting. So again, traction point. So your hips are staying in the mat. You're not lifting your hips. But someone is pulling that invisible string from the top of your head and lifting you up, but you're super glued with your hips and your thighs onto the mat. The shoulders pull down and back, and that's going to create this lovely curve in your spine. Sometimes curves are good things, sometimes they're not. Sometimes we don't want this curve in our spine, but see, right now there's no weight on it. I don't want this supporting your body. Right now your body is being supported by the earth, which is why it's okay. And when your body can get used to being in this curve, then you're not going to hurt yourself if you do something and put yourself in this situation. People talk about throwing out their back. This is usually what they're talking about. And it's because as we get older, we lose this ability to do this posture. And release that down, slide the hands back, push yourself up back to that modified plank. Taking a deep breath, and then sit back on your heels, reaching the hands forward. Bring your knees together for this. Let your head drop down and take a rest for a moment in child's pose. So breathe into that low back. Good, come back up onto hands and knees. So now we do want a neutral spine. So the belly button is pulling in to support the back, to support the spine. We're going to extend the right leg, pushing it away, and extend the left arm, pushing it away. So as always, it's this reaching but not coming out of our joint. So make sure your shoulder is pulling back even while your arm is extending. And same thing, you're really pushing your right foot away, but if you have a tendency to push out of your hip socket, make sure you stay right there in it. And then we're going to bend that left knee and see if you can catch your right knee, your right foot in your hand. You could get the assistance of the strap. It's a little bit of a fuss to sort of find the loop of the strap, hook it around and grab it with your hand, but you can definitely do it. You can do it with a t-shirt and towel, sometimes even more easily. If you can't reach it, that's fine. Just bend the knee, and as if you're trying to reach it, just hold there. If you can reach it, kick that hand against your foot and the foot against the hand and create a deeper stretch. So now your back is going to be bending, and you're also stretching that quad. Good, and then bring that leg forward, plant it down onto the mat, and rise up hands behind the right knee, and hinge forward. So again, think about growing tall. Think about that string lifting you up and driving you forward, but without dropping and sinking into your hips. It's really easy here to just sort of sink into this posture. So even though we're stretching and we're pressing forward, we're still lengthening and not putting pressure and compression into this low part of our spine. Roll the shoulders back, open the chest towards the sky, bring the gaze up, and breathe. Good. Bring the hands onto the mat and lift the back toes up so you come into a runner's lunge, right foot over, right knee over right ankle. Pausing here. So if you have blocks, sometimes blocks are helpful here. A lot of people have a hard time getting their hands comfortably down to the mat with a long spine. That's absolutely fine to be up, and you could even rise up and you could even just stay on your knee if that was more appropriate for you. We're going to do a twist. You have the option of staying with that back leg lifted or dropping to your knee. I will show you both. So bring yourself up. This is with the knee lifted, hands to heart center, and bring that left elbow to the top of the right thigh or bind it against the right thigh. And if it's too much with the knee lifted, go ahead and release it down. And if you're wobbling with your hands at heart center, you could place the left hand on the mat. If you wanted, you could extend the right arm up. So different variations of the same twist, but this spinal twist is the purpose. That's what's most important. If the leg is lifted, go ahead and push that heel away, continuing to get a nice stretch through there. Good, and release that. We're going to come to pigeon on this same leg. So take this right foot and bring it across the body, releasing yourself down, and extend that left leg back behind you. Try to square your hips and try not to just roll and sit on that right glute. If your right glute is up in the air, you can wedge the block under it to support you. Staying right here for a moment, chest tall and proud, shoulders back, a little bit of a back bend. Again, we're being drawn up from here, but we're rooted down in the mat, so it's creating a nice curve of our back, but natural, so we're not thrusting our head back and disrupting that. And then from here, if you want, you can stretch yourself out, bringing your hands onto the mat, or your head onto the mat, onto your hands, or you could put a block there. Try to get this foot out from under your body. If it's well under you, you'll have a hard time stretching. So always think about trying to bring that foot out. And just take a couple breaths here. And pressing yourself back up. Option to bend that left knee. Getting a stretch through here. And if you want, you could reach the left hand back and grab hold of it. And you could start to pull it towards you. You'll feel a very deep stretch in your quad here. If you don't, you're very lucky. You don't have any tightness in your quad. I do. So when I start to pull on this leg, wow, I feel it in my quadricep. Good. Releasing out of that, bring the hands down to the mat. Step yourself up to a regular plank or modify as we've been doing, but I just thought it'd be nice to get off our knees for a moment. And then from here on your toes or from knees, go ahead once again, lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Bring your hands right in front of you so your head is kind of resting on your hands. Elbows are out to the side. And we're going to inhale and lift just our head and our chest. Exhale, release back down. Inhale to press up, so the arms are helping to lift us. And release down. One last time in this position. And now I want your arms to go up with you. So as you inhale, your hands and your arms lift up. As you exhale, everything lowers down. Make sure you're contracting your gluteal muscles to support your low back. Use the breath as you inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. One last time, lift and lower. Bring the hands under shoulders, push yourself up and back. Sitting back on your heels in child's pose. Breathing for a moment there. And come on back up to tabletop. Finding yourself in that neutral position, and then extend the left leg long, just at hip height. Extend the right arm in front, stretching them both, pushing them both away, creating length in those muscles. And then grabbing hold of the right. The right hand grabs the left foot, or it just reaches back towards it. If you don't reach it, that's okay. Don't hurt your back trying to grab hold of it. Just stay here. I have a short torso and long limbs, so postures like this are easy on me. So sometimes I'll do something and it looks really easy, and it's not because I'm so amazing at doing yoga. It's because I have long legs and long arms and a short torso. So this will be easier often for women for that just general reason, and sometimes for guys it's harder, so that's fine. You just are here. You're still getting a stretch and you're actually working harder because your abs are still working. Good, and go ahead and place that down. Bring that left foot all the way forward. So again, coming to runner's lunge, you could just have your hands on blocks. They can be on the floor. You could sort of suction cup your hands. Pushing. The action here is really driving away with that right heel to create length in that hamstring. And we're just checking that our knee is over our ankle, so we're not putting undue pressure on our knee joint. And always thinking that you could really take off into this. This is actually quite a powerful position. It's a runner's lunge, so you could go from this and take off and run a race. So if you feel like you could not, notice why. Where is it because your foot's too far back? Is it too far forward? Is your back in a funny position? And then releasing that back knee down, rising up and hinging forward. So making sure the hands are behind the knee, shoulders down and back, driving forward, so we're opening the right hip flexor, but still lifting and opening through the chest to give yourself a bit of a back bend. Taking a couple of breaths there. And then coming to our twist, so your option to stay with your knee on the mat or to come up, hands at heart center, hands bind against that knee, and we twist. Trying to keep the hands at heart center. They will have a tendency to migrate. See if you can invite them to stay in the middle of the chest. Remember your options. That back knee can come onto the mat. The front hand could come onto the mat. If you're wobbling, this will support you. So this would be a modified version of it. You could extend the arms. But if you look at my torso, it hasn't changed. Whether I'm here or here, my torso is in the exact same twist, right? It's just what else is working. So don't feel like you're not getting the benefit if you do it with your knee down. You totally are. You're just getting different benefits if you're here. And then releasing that, coming to pigeons, so that left leg comes across our body. And if this isn't appropriate for anyone, I should have said before, you can always come onto your back and do figure four. That's the same stretch. So again, sitting up tall, this is what I was talking about here. If you wanted to, if it was more comfortable on that right glute, you could put a block under it to support it. Really stretching that right leg away. Lifting tall, keeping that left foot from creeping under the body. And then if you'd like, relaxing down, bringing the head to the hands, to the floor, or to a block. There's other positions here. You could extend your arms out in front of you. There's variations of binds. So if there's another variation that you know that you want to do, that is fine. I guess this would be paloma in Spanish. That's pigeon, I think. Trying to really breathe into this. A lot of us hold tension in our hips. That's why this tends to be a posture that people like, because it's fairly comfortable, but really gets into that hip. And if it feels tight and uncomfortable, breathe into it. Try to let go of that hip tension. And then pressing yourself back up, bending that back knee. And again, you could just stay right here. No sweat. You could reach back. So one thing to do when you do some of these stretches is you could make a loop in your belt if you're using a yoga belt, and then you could hook that loop over your foot and then hold it here. I should probably show you that another time. Again, you can pull that in, create a deeper stretch. Good, release that. And again, coming up into a regular plank, dropping to knees if you want, but sometimes it feels kind of good to get off those knees. And releasing that all the way down to the mat. Bringing the hands behind the body, clasping the hands together. Pull the hands back so you lift your chest and shoulders, and then see if you can lift your legs off the mat as well. So see if you can squeeze your legs together, lifting them up without bending your knees. You're contracting your gluteal muscles here to support the back. Lifting your arms up away from the back. Good, and release that down. Press into your hands, push all the way up, finding downward facing dog, or just come to all fours if down dog is not appropriate for you. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Press the heels into the mat. Maybe jog through, bending one knee, bending the other knee. Good, step that right foot forward, rise up to a high lunge, so hands supporting you on your thighs, your heart center, or arms can extend. Once again, really pushing away with that back heel to straighten that leg. Release the back arm down, the front arm up. Back arm, left arm. It's not the back until you bring it to the back. The left arm drops down, right arm comes up. Good, coming up to standing, hands at heart center, and just step a little bit more forward. We're gonna come to pyramid pose. So both legs are straight, so that left foot has to come a little bit forward. So your options for pyramid are hands on hips, hands fist to fist, or hands in reverse prayer. Trying to keep the hips stable, or not stable, but even. We're going to hinge forward with a long spine, pulling the right hip back and the left hip forward, which will help keep them even. And there's really no reason to go past parallel to the floor, and for some of you that might not even be a possibility. So you go as far as you can go with a straight spine without rounding the back. Flatten out that upper back. Imagine I come and I put my hand right between your shoulder blades. You want to get that nice and flat. You could keep going. You could definitely do this all the way down, nose to knee, but we don't want to round our spine in order to get there. And then press yourself up. If you have a block or something handy, I'm scooching as normal. If you have a block or something handy, just take your block and put it right next to your right pinky toe. Okay, it can be at any level. We're going to come into revolved triangle. So bringing your hands to your hip, and then right hand on your right hip, left arm is going to extend up. So it starts the same. We hinge forward, and then you reach that left hand across and find the block. You can definitely bring your hand to the floor, but that is really far for a lot of us. So you could have your block at its highest level, middle level, or lowest level. And then if you're stable there, begin to turn towards that side. And then if you want, extend your right arm. You will be likely to wobble in this posture. That's okay. You could bring that hand back to the hip. You could bring the hand on the floor to a higher level. That would help you be less wobbly. Unless, of course, that higher level itself is wobbly. And then again, if you have the flexibility, you want to go to the floor, that's fine. But this twist of the torso is really what we're aiming for. And the stretch of the hamstrings. Good, and then bend the front knee as you revolve yourself down. Step your right foot all the way back. Coming to modified plank. We'll go through vinyasa here, so lowering chest, chin, and hips. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale to all fours or to downward facing dog. Pressing your heels into the mat. Lengthening the spine. Sit bones pressing up to the air. And then step the left foot forward, rising up to a high lunge on this side. Same arm position possibilities. Most stable, more challenging, most challenging. Gazing towards the ceiling if you want to really challenge yourself, pushing your heel away. Shoulders away from the ears. So all these are meant to really stretch these hamstrings. So I'm working a lot in the hamstrings and in the back today. Good, bring the hands to the heart as you step the back foot forward. So your feet are on train tracks. All 10 toes facing forward and feet are relatively close together. I'm going to go ahead and place my block here now, just so it's there. So starting with pyramid, bringing the hands behind the back in reverse prayer, or any of the modifications. And we hinge forward. This time the right hip is going to pull forward as the left hip pulls back to keep the hips square. So your head stays in line with your spine. So you're not looking at the wall in front of you. You're not looking at your back toes. You're looking out on the floor somewhere in front of your left big toe. Just depends on where your body is. If you're higher up, that point is further away. As you lower down, that point's going to be closer to you. But you don't want to have the back of your neck wrinkled, because that means that you're putting your spine not in a neutral position. This should feel nice in the hamstrings, and it's lengthening the spine. Press up. I should probably not say the word nice. It might feel terrible on your hamstrings, but it is indeed stretching your hamstrings. Bring your left hand to your hip, right arm extends. Inhale and exhale. So same idea as we reach forward, 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 and then we bring that hand to the block. Stabilize yourself here. Once you're stable, you're turning towards that side, trying to open the chest towards that side wall and extend the arm. Holding for a few breaths. Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. So the idea here is to get that spinal twist, but we're also getting a hamstring stretch. Release that. And move that block out of the way so you can bend your knees, step yourself all the way back to plank, dropping down to knees, lowering all the way down. Inhale, rising up to cobra. Exhale, push back to child's pose. Okay, so bring yourself back up. We're going to come down the mat and we're going to do our last back bending move from here. So this is more advanced, but again, I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to do bow, but I'll walk you through it and you don't need to do the most advanced version. So everyone's going to bend their knees. We try to keep our knees together in this. They're going to tend to want to kind of flare open, but just, they're not going to be pressed together, but think about squeezing them together. And then you're going to lift the chest and the shoulders. Now you might just find that this is sufficient for you and you want to stay supported. Otherwise, you're going to reach the hands back. And maybe you get to here and you can't reach your feet, that's fine. You're just going to keep lifting through the chest. Contracting the glutes, lifting the legs. And then if you make contact and you can grab them, great. And then if you've done that, you can think about lifting the legs off the mat, pulling the shoulders back, squeezing the knees towards one another, and take a couple of breaths. So you're really kicking your hands, or your feet rather, against your hands. Breathing in, breathing out. So again, this is an advanced posture, but you can do variations of this. You do not need to get all the way to here if this is not appropriate for you. Good, and release that down. Push yourself up and spin yourself around. Sounded like the hokey pokey. And come to sitting. Bending the knees, pull the belly button in as you roll yourself all the way down onto the mat. Reach those arms overhead, reach the legs down below. Draw the right knee in just like we did at the beginning. Press the left heel away. And now we're going to twist, so bringing this right knee over. Now, for a lot of you, the right knee is not going to go to the mat, so you have options. You can bring the block and put it under your leg, or bend your left knee and do your twist from here. If that right knee goes all the way to the floor, fine. And then extend your arms and look over your right shoulder. If you want, you can take that left hand and gently place it on your leg, on your thigh. That kind of deepens the twist. And then for those of you with some hamstring flexibility, or if you feel like you want another hamstring stretch, you can actually extend this top leg, catch it in your hand, and kick it out. So I kind of feel like you're a little bit like the letter K in this position. I'm not really sure if you looked at me from above, it would look like a K, but that's what it feels like. And go ahead and release that. If it's extended, roll yourself back to center. And other side. So a lot of people obviously get back pain, especially low back pain. That's because most of us spend a lot of time sitting and or standing. And then if you have weak core, which none of you take my classes have weak core because we do lots of core work. And then this is a nice complement to it. So these stretches where we've got our knees in is just releasing that back. We've been doing a lot of bending into our low spine, which keeps that moving. It gets that mobility going. And then these twists, we're going to twist to this side, same options here. I can't extend my leg here, I'm too close to the wall, but if you guys want to extend your leg, you can. When we do these twists, the twists counterpose that back bending, and they're also just super, super good for the health of our low back. So, and then the hamstring stretching, because of course your backs of your legs, those muscles then run into your glutes and then connect up to those back muscles. So people who suffer from sciatica, the pain is in the back, but it's usually because of a tightness in the back of the leg. That sciatic nerve gets pinched from that. So by stretching our legs as well as our back, we reduce the likelihood of that happening to us. So again, you can have that block under your knee, you could double up your knees and bend them, you could extend your top leg. And then once again, roll yourself to center, hug both knees into your body. We did a little inversion at the beginning, but I'll do a little one here at the end too. So if you've got your block handy, go ahead and bring your block under your back. If you don't, you can just bring your hands under your body and extend those legs up. The only reason for using the block is it takes all the work out of your abs. If you don't use the block, you have to actually support your legs. And of course, if anyone wanted to take this to a more challenging inversion, if you want to bring those legs overhead to plow, up to shoulder stand, we'll stay here for just about, we have time to do about a minute. Arms can go wherever. I sometimes like to bring them overhead or like in a cactus because it opens up the shoulders. That's where I get a lot of tightness. And just like we did at the beginning, if it feels good to drop those legs open, you could do that. You can come to a lotus if you're super fancy, or you could come to a diamond position. Plenty of options. We're going to go from this into relaxation, so you can certainly begin to focus on your breath again, deep breathing. You can certainly close your eyes if that feels good. These inversions where you're supported, where you're not working as hard, like in a headstand or shoulder stand you're having to work, but this is a very relaxing, very nice thing to do at the end of the day. All right, so if you are on a block, go ahead and get yourself off of that. And then just come to happy baby to release that back body. One last time, open up the hips, give yourself a rock. And bring the soles of your feet together and lower the soles of your feet onto the mat. So you come to a supine butterfly, supine Baddha Konasana. That means supine bound angle, but this is our butterfly position. And taking, again, your one hand on your belly button, one hand in between your, at your chest, at your solar plexus. You're more or less on two of the chakras when you're in this position. So that's why it's a nice place for your hands. There's your abdominal chakra and your heart chakra. And then close your eyes. And just as we did at the beginning, watch that breath. Inhale, watch the breath come in through the nose, down to the abdomen. That chakra down there where your belly button is, more or less, your abdominal chakra, it's your source of confidence, of strength, of that ability to kind of, it's, you know, if you think of your core supporting your spine, it's that in a less physical sense, that ability to stand up for yourself, to stand up for others. Your confidence is there. And then of course here in our heart, your heart chakra, our source of love, compassion, emotion. So by placing your hands there and by just feeling the weight of your hands, it sort of turns on these chakras. It brings your attention to them. And then as you breathe into them, you're breathing that pranic energy to that area. And it's completely up to you how you take the remainder of your savasana, or of your relaxation, I should say. If you want to stay here, if you just want to release your hands but leave your legs, or if you want to extend your legs and come to savasana, you may. And just allow your breath to relax you. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Every inhale drawing in relaxation, strength. Every exhale releasing tension, releasing stress. And begin to gently bring your attention, awareness back. Noticing your body on the mat. Begin to reawaken the muscles, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, rolling your head from side to side. And rolling over onto your right hand side, you can extend your right arm to rest your head on it, curling over for a moment in the fetal position. It's a very safe position. Your body is protected. When you roll to your right, it leaves your left side up, which is your heart side. So your heart is open, expanded to the universe. It's technically considered the more energizing position. If you roll to the other side, it's considered more relaxing. And then bring yourself to a sit. So however is comfortable, but sitting with your spine tall, eyes closed, shoulders rolling down away from the ears. And one final time, place those hands in your same two positions, there in your heart and your abdomen. And I just wanted to read something which to me sort of calls to attention these two parts of our body. This is from Mark Nepo, Book of Awakening. And it starts with a quote, "No bird can fly without opening its wings, and no one can love without exposing their heart. It is perhaps the oldest of inner laws, as inescapable as gravity. There's no chance of lifting into any space larger than yourself without revealing the parts you hold closest to your chest. Anytime you hesitate revealing who you are, picture yourself as a bird, perched on a roof, wings tucked at your sides. To enter a relationship without opening your heart is to jump off that roof without spreading your wings. It's true that baby birds do hesitate the first time out of the nest, but once tasting the air, it is in their nature to open and rise and close and land. This is their life, it is ours too. The paradox, of course, is that we must trust that the power to lift and land for us is in revealing what we hide. Once we reveal, these tender things become our wings. And as I mentioned, that you have this confidence here in your belly and your heart here in your chest. And those two areas work together to hopefully allow that to happen. And releasing your hands, inhale, give yourself a stretch up, press the palms together, exhale, hands to heart center. Om Shanti Om.